A jury finding that D.C. man who threw a Subway sub at a Border Patrol agent not guilty of assault. It happened during an anti-Trump protest. The misdemeanor acquittal was celebrated by First Amendment activists. There was also pushback on the charge itself, some saying the Trump administration's Justice Department was being vindictive. 3 times a grand jury rejected a push for felony charges against the man. The Subway sub incident happened during an anti-Trump protest. Let's go live now to Court TV's legal correspondent Kelly Craft. And Kelly, the big joke is that a grand jury can indict a ham sandwich, but apparently you can't convict a person because of a sandwich either.
Well, hi there. So what the jurors took a look at in this case was the facts were not in dispute. There was no dispute that he threw the sandwich. He even admitted that when he was arrested. So the jurors, although he did not take the stand, the jurors were able to see him being arrested and him telling officers that, yes, I did throw a sandwich at the Border Patrol agent. What was in dispute, though, was did this cause a harm? Did the officer have a reasonable fear of harm or threat, feeling threatened by that sandwich being thrown at him? And we heard from one juror after that verdict was reached who said, we just did not feel collectively that he was threatened, that he felt or had a reasonable sense of harm in this situation.
Kelly, there was lots of pushback on this from the beginning. Judge Janine Pirro wanted to try this man on felony charges. A grand jury rejected that 3 times. Would a responsible prosecutor would a responsible prosecutor even try to bring this case?
So that's an interesting question, and the prosecutor has made it clear that when federal officers are out there doing their job, according to her, this is her view, that they should not be subjected to any sort of harm, no matter how minor that is. And so that's why she brought these charges in the first place. And then she went down and she lessened the charges there that were brought against the defendant in this particular case. And it turns out that the jurors, of course, did not find him guilty. Could they have gone with even lesser charges and maybe received a conviction? That's possible, but that's not what they decided to do.
Hey, Kelly, my friend, you lawyers aren't cheap. Even when you win in court, you lose in court because you got to pay attorneys. Is there a way for this man to recoup his legal fees?
That's a really good question, and it's always great to see you. So, you know, it depends. I have no idea what his agreement was with his attorneys in this particular case. You know, I know in D.C. there are a lot of people that have different opinions about what's taking place. So it's very possible the attorneys represented him for free, but I do not know.
Hey, Kelly, if all the attorneys in Washington, D.C. call up to complain about my coverage, would you represent me for free?
Yes, I would, of course. Yes, for old time's sake, yes, I would, definitely. I miss seeing you.
You too, buddy. Kelly Craft from Court TV. Kelly, thanks for being with us.
You're welcome.